Hello everyone and welcome to my presentation today. First, I would like to thank IGEA for holding Games Connect Asia Pacific. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far, and please bear with me for the next 40 to 15 minutes ahead, because English is not my main language, so I hope I can explain this presentation clearly for you guys. Now, as you can see on the screen, my talk today is art, video game, and cultural representation. In this presentation, I like to share my kind of messy experience as a game developer from illustrator point of view. How it is like being a game developer in Indonesia, what I have created, and what I've learned so far. So, let's move on. So, this is me. Actually, that's my profile picture in every social media. So if you see this style of old drinking coffee passing through your newsfeed, don't be afraid to come say hi. My full name is Brigitta Rena, but it's too long, so you can just call me Rena. I'm a 2D artist, co-founder of Multicam Studio. You can always hit me up on social media under the name Crystalnya. I'm always on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Discord. I had a bachelor degree in visual communication design. I love doing art, illustrating, merchandising, and designing fabric pattern. Somehow I keep thinking, if I'm not in game development, I would love to try my luck building my own merch and apparel brand. But now, I'm still making games, and these are the games I've directed so far. They are She and the Light Below and Raven Monologue and When the Past Was Around. The first two, She and the Light Below and Raven Monologue, is already released. You can check it on Steam. Especially She and the Light Below is also released on Nintendo Switch and iOS. It tells a story of Ibu Pertiwi, Indonesian personification of Mother Earth. And the Raven Monologue is a silent interactive story that captures Surabaya, my hometown, and its old city architecture. It's been an amazing journey working on these two, but what I want to share with you today is this particular game that recently released for PC. It's titled When the Past Was Around. It's kind of weird because I'm recording this before the game is actually released, but I hope you guys like this game and please try it. So all these 3 games I won't be able creating it if not because of my amazing team that have been all my life for 7 years now, and they are. So we are Multicam Studio. We are based in Surabaya, Indonesia, and before we found the name Multicam, we were a group of illustrators making an illustration studio that one day we decided to make a game. Our background as illustrator and artists also shaped us to believe that video game is art. We treat our game as our medium of expression. So these core values made us not afraid to experiment with our game. Yet, back then in 2015, I guess, when we still didn't know anything about the game development process, we tried to make our own personal upgrading program. We name it Multicam Camp. It's kind of internal game jam where we learn anything from pixel art, video game business and monetization. We also watching a lot of game development classes together and so on and so on. But most importantly that this Multicam Camp is a moment where we are able to experiment the game as a medium and explore ourselves. So we at Multicam Studio held this Multicam Camp every 2 years. Now Multicam is already 7 years old and we have already done this camp 3 times. And each one has its own unique objective depending on what we need to learn at the time. The goal of Multicam Camp is for each of us to have a game of our own with our personality imbued to it. So, what I want to talk about next is about this personality. So what is this personality? Putting your own personality to the game is more like expressing your identity as a human being, expressing what you love, what have you experienced, what you admire, and in my case, culture is a good way to start with. Either my own culture or something that close around myself, or a culture that I have admired and I tried my best to research it because the thing is, Indonesia is very diverse country. We have separated by island, each land is separated into different provinces and each with different language you speak, different culture, different food, different clothes, different archipelago. So it's more like it's common to us that I like the culture from another island, but it's still in Indonesia and we didn't know about this culture at all. So we push ourselves to learn about that culture. Even maybe if you're not from Indonesia, you can talk about the urban culture as well. Things like are around you, yet you may go unnoticed by yourself. Such things like how we talk to others, how we live as a community, how we live our life day by day. Even in this, my experience and your experience would not be the same. The variable is endless, and what I understand is every one of us is unique and we can show it in what we created. So if you're not confident enough to talk about yourself, maybe try to talk about your friend, maybe people you love, or maybe some culture you like, just as I said. Make it as some kind of love letter to them. Take good research on time. Try to pick what is your favorite part and what you want to communicate about the subject, and you'll have it. Next is about Multicam Camp 3. So, to show you how my friend and I at Multicam Studio created this personal game, I will tell you about the development of my most recent game, When the Past Was Around. So, When the Past Was Around began at the third Multicam Camp project. It was around the time when I and the team finally finished my previous project, She and the Light Barrel. When the past was around, it's a bit different with our past project. This game was inspired by our fans actually, who helped us decide the theme and pick 3 out of, how many is it? 11 game pitches that were made personally from each Multicam member. Furthermore, we formed 3 separate teams to work on these 3 games that had been chosen and explore the premise. So next is about When the Past Was Around concept, I guess. When I created the initial pitch for When the Past Was Around, I was inspired by what I learned from directing She and the Light Bearer and the Raven Monologue, my past 2 projects. First is I want to create another game without any dialogue, just like what I do with a Raven Monologue. So the story is told with character gesture, environmental storytelling, and music. So with this, I hope people could interpret the story of When the Past Was Around freely, depending on their experiences in relationship and life. I also wanted to create a whimsical fairy tale-ish story like She and the Light Bearer, but having less mythical and adding more relatable setting. So instead a strange shepherd firefly, I'm creating a romance story of a human as a main character to make it relatable, and one strange character, this owl piece, to make it more whimsical. The next is if Raven use old tone aesthetic, I try to capture Surabaya in present day. The last is like in She and the Light Bearer, we make the art so unique that not so many people in our team could duplicate it, and this must change. And this is my main focus for this project. So about the story concept, I started with this concept artwork as a mock-up depicting 2 characters, a couple made of a girl and an owl-headed man, holding their hands together in a messy room filled with old furniture and wells. The focus of this artwork are these unusual couples. Also in developing this game, different from previous Multicam camp, I'm having a discussion with other team members to explore the romantic themes of these characters. This discussion was kind of more casual and personal, I guess. It's like we tell stories that we experienced in life, find a way to relate ourselves with the theme and the premise of the game. It turns out we as a team decide to present the relationship within these 2 as a violinist couple. The sound of violins feel perfect with the mood I want to achieve, so that's kind of great idea from them. So even though I don't intended to when designing the character and narrative of this game, oh my god, it's kind of embarrassing. I kept thinking about my experience, my relationship with my partner that also was one of my team for this project. So I kept thinking about the struggle we face as an artist, but at the same time how we inspire each other, both in creating art and in life, what we hope for each other as well. I even put what he likes to make these 2 characters more colorful. So even though the story of these characters are just fiction, we want to put little details about what we had in our daily life into the game. Next is the references, I guess. So when creating the character, I was inspired or obsessed by stories that feature some kind of beast and a girl combination. This particular story genre trope is called as the Beast and the Beauty trope, as you can imagine, Beauty and the Beast. I enjoy books like Ancient Magus Bride by Koreya Masaki and The Girl from the Other Side by Nakabe. But at first, I didn't know what kind of beast I should portray him. So, as you can see here, this is the initial design for Owl. Since I love drawing birds and plants, I think it is better to make a kind of bird-headed man or plant-headed man for this beast character. I even draw a bunny and actual man with a bird mask in there, if you can see it. So finally I kind of doing a little research what kind of animal or plant that represent the past, as we are talking about the past of our main character, the girl. So after a little searching, I choose an owl because owl represent wisdoms and also knowledge and the guardian of the past. So I think that is what the main character needs in her difficult state of her life, and that is perfect. So this is the final look on Owl. I also minimized the full detail on his head and make it more simplified. This is to make him look more friendly, and it's easier for me to draw his expression in this look. What makes me regret lately is that, as you can see, in the initial design, I'm not coloring his limbs, hand and legs the same color as his fur, and it's too late when I'm releasing this, since all the character assets are already finished, so I have to live with that. And next is our protagonist. The girl is now having a name. She is Ada. I think she didn't change much. I just changed the detail of her hair a little bit, just so it will be faster to draw by other artists. Maybe what changed was how she dressed in the game. At first I thought she would always wear the same ivory dresses throughout the game, but after the second thought, we wanted to capture her everyday life, so her clothes changed depending on where and what she was doing with the owl. Next is our references for the gameplay and mood of the game. We take influences and references from Florence and Rusty-like series. We love how good Florence tells a story in the comic book layout and this on-point interactivity, which is such a challenge for us to duplicate. At the same time, we love the puzzle from the Rusty-like series. We try our best to combine these two aspects to make something new out of it, so I hope it works out. Let's see. Please tell me what you think about this. So finally, when the past was around took shape into this short adventure point and click game about love, moving on, letting go, and the joy and pain of everything in between. It tells a story of Ada, an aspiring violinist who almost give up on her dreams, who falls in love with another violinist in the form of an owl-headed man. So, since the concept is clear, and we choose to making a silent story. It's like seeing how people react to one single image is helping us a lot in our development. So I try to post some of the initial key out in social media. It's kind of can be a little test on the water how people will react to these two characters we created so far. It's interesting to see how do they think about the mood and what kind of detail that caught their interest. I received so many heartwarming comments and DMs so far. Thank you guys. It's like seeing people eager to know more about Edda and Owl give us hope and kind of validation, I guess, that we are good to go. People love it. Then okay, let's finish this project. So it motivates us. So next, another way to find feedback and see how people react is through convention. Since we know what we do best is doing art, whenever there is a chance to do it, we love to sell 1, 2, or maybe a lot merch while showcasing our game. People who like the game tend to buy our outprint after they play the showcase demo. Or people who didn't have much time but engage enough with the art also buy it. So they will remember to check our game when they back home. So it's like sometimes they also buy the print even though we already gave them our name card with every info in it. That's amazing. I mean, what is it? I did not people would react that way. And the good things for me to bring merchandise into convention is like talking about your merch to a visitor or other game dev is like a good conversation starter. I mean, if you have hard time trying to find a topic to break the ice like me, we can always start from, hey, do you want to buy my merch or something like that. Yeah, I think that's about merch. So next is like Outstyle concept. In the Outstyle, I think like there are things that I want to achieve on when the past was around Outstyle, and these things are nostalgic mood and easy to duplicate, fast to make, realistic style background, highliner details, and simple colorings. That's these 5 points. Let's break it down one by one. So first I need to breaking down, I need to understand what is the nostalgic mood that I actually looking for. At first I only have a vague concept of it, so I have to make it clear. Here I try to combine the art style of these 3 amazing artists. It's Pung, Maori Sakai, and Yuko Higuchi. All of them have a warm, kind of washed out color mood that looks like an old photo, and that is just with the criteria of what I want to achieve in this game. I think I started with Pung. I love how Pung captured the couple everyday life in her every illustration, but we cannot duplicate her line out and sketchy shape. It is so distinct of her style that it will be hard to duplicate by ourselves. But I love her warm tone that she created in her illustration, but the talent in our studio is having hard time with watercolor, and we want to keep it digital for efficiency, so we cannot use watercolor. Next is I want to explain about Maori Sakai. I love how she draw the line out, the simple color that easy to duplicate, and everyday themes he draws, but the color mood is too washed out, and she used, I think, more like cold color tone. That's not the warm mood I'm looking for, but I love the line out, so we can just take it. And next, in Yuko Higuchi art, I love every aesthetic element she draws, from the detailed line art, warm color, and whimsical feeling in it. But what is it? The fantasy theme that she always draw is not suitable for the concept of this game. So I try to capture, mix and match the essence of these three illustrators that I like. So I try to capture the Pung's couple's pose and mood, and I try to capture line out and simple color of Mauri Sakai, and last is the warm color of Yuko Hikuchi. We try to make adjustment now and then, trying to simplify where we feel comfortable enough to draw, and the result is what you see in our current game. Next is more, I want to talk about easy to duplicate and fast to make. This is what I learned from my previous project, She and the Light Barrel. Previously, we wanted to make a very unique Outstyle, but in the end, not everyone in the studio can work on it. There is only me and my background artist at the time, Alvin, that can work on it, and it takes us 4 years to develop, and it's not a very good plan. Please don't follow it. So I think the problem is that even though we use simple shapes for She and the Light Barrel, the team didn't understand why we have to shape the leaf and trees like that, and there are so many details to cover. So when the past was around, we make the environment in a realistic Outstyle, so all I need to provide is the actual object references, I guess, and they can immediately draw it to the game. So it's more simple, more common, I guess. And these are the amazing people I work for this project. I would proudly present Pandu Rokmi, Nick Romario, and Bangkit Miauso. The thing is, searching for amazing line out artists in Surabaya is so easy. At first, we have Pandu helping me with the prologue out asset, but then sadly he cannot continue working on this project, so we have to have new people. That's when Nick and Bangkit come. Just like Pandu, they used to work on line outing comic book with an amazing details and quality, so I guess that's all I need. Okay, so I want to tell, what is it? Duplicate Apple unique Outstyle. So this is my attempt, so we won't have to repeat my terrible directing at She and the Light Barrel. Oh my god, it's hard to speak. From the moment I draw the initial concept out, I kept thinking how an unique Outstyle could be duplicated by my team. And this is the breakdown for when the past was around kind of Outstyle. First, since I'm confident that we have an enough number of good line artists in my team, putting more line out details on the asset will be no problem, so that will be our main cause for the Outstyle. Since we already got detailed line out, all we need the rest is this simple coloring technique, so the artists only have to block the shape with the color palettes I've provided, so they didn't have to think that much about the coloring process. Or if they cannot do that, I can work on the coloring myself and it won't take so much time. So the next, using a textured brush. The thing about textured brush is it will do the trick if one artist cannot have the same clean line art as the other. The brush is meant to be a little messy, so any error or differences cannot be seen at first glance, and I think that is enough. Even though there are many differences between artists, it didn't show much. So the next is about find best brush size for each artist. The thing is, each artist have a different stroke, so we cannot standardize the line out solely by the size of the brush they are using, but instead you have to find out their own size of brush that fit the key out I've made beforehand. Let's say if I'm using 8 points brush, some artists may need 10 to 13 point, and it's depending on how they put pressure on their pen. The difference margin usually around 5 point, and as I observe so far, but maybe there are another artists out there that are very different. So that's why I think our last point is very important. Good communication. It's like we have clear instruction and trying to maintain good communication each day. This is the reason I prefer them to come to studio rather than remote work. With being present in the studio, I can easily know what their difficulties are, what they're good at, and how they work can always be maintained by me, so I can quickly find the solution for their problem and find their strength so I can use it to the fullest. And having an in-house local artist also help us make the detail of representing Surabayan urban culture, because sometimes when designing the level there are so many details that the designer always forget to put into, and that is when the artist can add their personality into the game. And this is the mood board I made. Eventually my art team will have to help me coloring the scene, so these assets are the one that I work on myself. Then I gave them this file so they can just color pick this picture. I'm not giving them the color palette because they need to know what kind of color is used on what objects, because somehow wrong placement of the wrong color would disturb the overall color mood, so they have to know where to put the color in the right place. So the last thing I want to explain is a simple thing about I want to capture Surabaya in the present time into the setting for this game. Multicam have another project going on named A Space for the Unbound. It's directed by Dimas Novan, who also helping me with the art of this game. In Space for the Unbound, Dimas beautifully capture Indonesian small town aesthetic with Makoto Shinkai vibe. And his work inspires me to make another version of my hometown as well. So I want to try to capture Surabaya in my own way. So while I'm trying to working on it, I use Google Street View to search for references. I mean, it's my good friend at the time. It's actually saved me a lot of time and money and energy rather than to take my own bike out of town. So this is the most efficient way for me. And the next is about I try to capture how Eda and Owl live in a house. It's a long-term rented room that was usually found in Indonesia. So as you can see below, that was the cost of our animator, and you can see how we translate it into the game above. And lastly, it's more like what we want to put small detail of everyday object into this game. It's more like maybe the explanation is easier for me. Like as you can see below, we can see young Ada in a national middle school uniform, while her mother wears a home dress that we usually call duster. And we can, these little things, we try to put it in the game that maybe not so traditionally unique, but you only can find this little detail in Indonesia, and I want to try to put this subtle Indonesian feeling in it. So after hard work from the development team, the marketing and publishing team, finally when the best was around is released on 22nd September 2020. Yay! So I would like to show you this release trailer. Yay! So I think that's it. Maybe I will give a little conclusion from me is that I hope you notice why I included cultural representation on the title. It's cultural representation might feel complicated at first. Yes, you need a lot of research to depict a culture into a game, be it subtle or obvious references. I think don't be afraid to create personal unique game. I believe that you are unique. We all are unique. I mean, the most unique and best story comes out within yourself. The amazing thing is when you are able to represent yourself in your creation, in your work, in the game you made, it will resonate to other people because you are sincere to make it. They will feel related to you. Yeah, I mean, I also have my own low days working on this, but what I realized from this project is that I'm not alone. There are this amazing team that surprisingly for me always there to help. We as a studio have a lot to talk to each other while working on this project, both in professional and personal matter. We talk about what we worry about, even sharing some ugly feeling about each other, but after that we search what we can do to make this team the most comfortable place for everyone. I mean, I was privileged with amazing team, and yes, I do believe a good communication, a good working environment, and clearer mind give me a better result. So if you still didn't have this amazing people that support you, maybe by sharing what's your problem while making the game of your own to the social media or to your community, it will resonate to other people, so they will help and make you a better game, I guess. So yeah, thanks for listening to me. I hope you have a great day ahead. I hope you understand what I say. So please take care of yourself. If you have any question or just want to say hi, just hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. I would love to reply to you or taking a chat or whatever. Yeah, thank you.